What if I told you that the greatest tragedy in Star Wars history could have been prevented by the Force itself? What if, in a desperate attempt to save the Chosen One, the Force made an impossible decision to literally split Anakin Skywalker into two separate beings, one embodying pure light, the other embracing absolute darkness? Today, we explore a scenario where the galaxy witnesses not one Chosen One, but two opposing forces of destiny. Our story begins on the mystical realm of Mortis, where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka have been drawn by the Force itself. The ancient beings known as the Father, Son, and Daughter have maintained the balance between light and dark for millennia. But now, that balance is crumbling. As the Father lay dying, his final words echo through the crystalline chambers.
The balance, it cannot be maintained by one alone. The burden is too great.
His ancient eyes fix on Anakin with desperate hope.
You are the Chosen One. But perhaps the Force has a different plan.
The Son, consumed by darkness, launches one final attack on his sister, the Daughter. As she falls, mortally wounded, the very fabric of Mortis begins to tear apart. Reality shifts and warps around them. The Force itself screams in agony as the cosmic balance shatters. Anakin feels it first, a splitting sensation in his chest, as if his very soul is being torn in half. He doubles over in pain, clutching his head as visions of his future flash before his eyes. He sees himself as Darth Vader, standing over Padmé's lifeless body. He sees younglings falling beneath his lightsaber, but he also sees another path, himself as a great Jedi Master, bringing peace to the galaxy, saving Padmé, becoming the father he was meant to be.
No!
Anakin screams, his voice echoing across multiple dimensions.
I won't choose! I can't choose!
The Force responds to his anguish. In a blinding flash of light that encompasses the entire realm, something unprecedented happens. The Force, in its infinite wisdom and desperation, makes the choice for him. It takes the impossible burden of choice away from the Chosen One by creating two. When the light fades, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka stare in shock. Where one Anakin stood, now there are two identical figures. Both wear the same robes, both have the same face, but something is fundamentally different about them. The first, Anakin, let's call him Anakin Light, looks around with clear, peaceful blue eyes. There's a serenity about him that his original self never possessed. The internal conflict that had always raged within him is gone, replaced by pure purpose. The second figure, Anakin Dark, stands with yellow eyes already beginning to show. His presence radiates power and ambition, but also pain and anger. This is all of Anakin's darkness concentrated into a single being. Both Anakins speak simultaneously.
I remember everything.
The Father, with his dying breath, whispers,
The Force has chosen both paths.
The journey back to Coruscant is tense beyond description. Obi-Wan finds himself constantly watching both versions of his former Padawan, unsure what to expect. Ahsoka stays close to Anakin Light, sensing the genuine peace radiating from him, while keeping a careful distance from Anakin Dark, whose very presence makes her skin crawl.
Master,
Anakin Light says softly to Obi-Wan,
I understand now why the Jedi Code exists. The attachment, the fear, the anger, I can see how it leads to suffering. But I also understand love in its purest form, without possessiveness.
Meanwhile, Anakin Dark stares out at the stars, his hands clenched into fists.
All my life, I've been held back by weakness, by the fear of my own power. No more.
His voice is cold, calculating.
The galaxy needs order, and I have the strength to give it.
Obi-Wan realizes they have a serious problem. Two beings with identical memories, identical power, but completely opposite moral compasses.
The Council needs to know about this immediately,
he murmurs. When they arrive at the Jedi Temple, the reaction is immediate and chaotic. The council chamber has never seen anything like this. Master Yoda's eyes widen as he senses both presences, one radiating pure light, the other emanating shadow.
Impossible this is.
Yoda says, his voice trembling.
Without the same coin becomes separate coins them.
Mace Windu is more direct.
This is dangerous beyond measure. We cannot allow both to remain free.
Anakin Light bows respectfully.
Masters, I understand your concern. I propose that I remain here for whatever testing you deem necessary. I have no anger, no hidden agenda. I only wish to serve the Force and bring peace to the galaxy.
Anakin Dark's response is quite different. His yellow eyes scan the council members with barely concealed contempt.
He would test me? Bind me? I am still the chosen one, perhaps more so now than ever. I have the power to end this war in days, not years.
Anakin Dark's response is immediate and chilling. Through strength, through victory, through giving the galaxy the order it desperately needs. The Sith understand power in ways the Jedi never will. His lightsaber hilt twitches at his belt as he speaks, and the tension in the room becomes suffocating. Obi-Wan attempts to mediate, suggesting they consider this situation as a potential gift. Perhaps Anakin Light could become the Jedi they always hoped for, while they could prevent Anakin Dark from following the dark path they've seen in visions. But Anakin Dark's response is a cold, bitter laugh. He questions whether their weakness could possibly contain what he will become, and reminds them that they've all seen the visions of what's coming. Without warning, he uses the Force to slam open the council chamber doors, declaring himself done with their pathetic deliberation while the galaxy burns around them. As he strides toward the exit, his presence leaves a chill in the air. Anakin Light calls out in genuine pain, reminding his dark counterpart that they share the same love for Padmé and the same desire to protect those they care about. Anakin Dark's final words before leaving are devastating. He declares that they share nothing, that Anakin Light represents everything weak about what he once was, while he embodies everything strong. His parting threat is clear. When the time comes, he will prove which version of them the galaxy truly needs. As Anakin Dark storms from the temple, the Council faces an unprecedented crisis. They have gained the perfect Jedi they always wanted, but in doing so, they've also unleashed their greatest nightmare. Anakin Light remains calm throughout the emergency session that follows. He proposes they allow events to unfold naturally, suggesting the Force has created this situation for a reason. Perhaps this is how balance is truly achieved, not through the dominance of light or dark, but through the eternal struggle between them. Master Yoda considers these words thoughtfully, acknowledging their wisdom while expressing concern about the dangerous pull he can already feel drawing the Dark One toward the Sith. Meanwhile, Anakin Dark makes his way through the lower levels of Coruscant to the apartment he shares with Padmé. When she sees him approach, she runs to embrace him, but something stops her cold. The look in his eyes, the way darkness seems to follow in his wake. Something fundamental has changed. She asks what happened on their mission, noting that he feels completely different. His response is chilling in its certainty. He has become what he was always meant to be. He speaks of having seen their future, of knowing how to save her from the death he's foreseen, but warns that it will require difficult choices. When she presses him about what kind of choices, his yellow eyes gleam in the apartment's soft lighting. The Jedi are weak, he explains. They would let her die rather than break their precious code, but he won't allow that. He would burn the galaxy to ash before letting anything happen to her. Padmé pulls away in alarm, saying he's scaring her and that this isn't like him. His response cuts to the bone. This is exactly like him. This is who he's always been, beneath the Jedi's conditioning. He is power incarnate, pure and unlimited, and with that power he will reshape the galaxy into something worthy of them both. Before she can respond, there's a knock at the door. Anakin Dark's expression hardens as he senses who it is through the Force. Anakin Light enters, his presence immediately calming the charged atmosphere. Padmé gasps at seeing two identical versions of the man she loves, and Anakin Light gently explains what happened on Mortis with respectful composure. As the Light version recounts the events, Padmé listens with growing horror and fascination. Two Anakins, one representing everything she loves about him, the other everything that frightens her about his potential for darkness. Anakin Dark poses the ultimate question to her. Which one will she choose? Anakin Light shakes his head sadly, insisting there should be no choice required. They both love her, both want her happiness. Surely they can find a way to coexist. But Anakin Dark's response reveals the fundamental difference between them. He laughs harshly at the suggestion of sharing, questioning whether love can be divided or power can be shared. His Light counterpart is even more naive than the Council, in his view. The confrontation is interrupted by Obi-Wan's arrival with a squad of clone troopers. The Council has decided that Anakin Dark must be confined until they can determine the best course of action. Anakin Dark's lightsaber ignites instantly, its blue blade humming with barely contained fury. He questions who exactly plans to confine him, these weak clones or Obi-Wan himself. The answer comes from an unexpected source. For the first time since the split, the two identical beings face each other in combat. Their lightsabers clash in Padmé's apartment, blue meeting blue in a shower of sparks. They know each other's moves perfectly. They share the same memories, the same training, the same instincts. But their fighting styles have already begun to diverge. Anakin Light's moves are defensive, precise, seeking to subdue rather than destroy. Anakin Dark fights with brutal efficiency, every strike meant to kill.
You cannot defeat me.
Anakin Dark snarls as their blades lock.
I am everything you fear to become. And you are everything I've chosen to leave behind, Anakin Light replies,
using the Force to push his dark counterpart away. The duel spills out onto the apartment's balcony, high above Coruscant's traffic lanes. Citizens below point and stare at the impossible sight, two identical figures locked in deadly combat against the city's glittering backdrop. Anakin Dark leaps high, using the Force to augment his jump to impossible heights. He brings his lightsaber down in a crushing overhead strike, but Anakin Light rolls aside at the last second, the Dark One's blade carving a molten gash in the balcony's floor.
You fight like a Jedi.
Anakin Dark sneers.
All defense, no killer instinct. That's why you'll lose. I fight to protect.
Anakin Light counters.
Not to dominate.
Their battle continues across the cityscape, leaping from speeder to speeder, using the Force to hurl massive chunks of debris at each other. The clone troopers follow as best they can, but this is a battle beyond their ability to influence. Finally, as they duel atop a massive communications spire, Anakin Dark makes his move. He reaches out with the Force, not toward his Light counterpart, but toward the civilian traffic below.
Choose.
He says coldly.
Stop me, or save them.
With a gesture, he sends a passenger transport spiraling out of control toward a crowded plaza. Anakin Light doesn't hesitate. He abandons the fight to catch the falling vehicle with the Force, gently lowering it to safety. By the time he turns back, Anakin Dark is gone, vanished into Coruscant's maze of corridors and shadows. In the days that follow, the galaxy begins to feel the impact of the split. Anakin Light throws himself into his duties as a Jedi, but his approach is revolutionarily different from before. He begins teaching other Jedi about emotional balance, about the difference between attachment and love, about finding strength through acceptance rather than resistance.
The code teaches us that emotion leads to suffering.
He explains to a gathering of younger Jedi.
But I've learned that emotion itself isn't the problem. It's how we respond to it. Fear doesn't have to lead to anger. Love doesn't have to lead to possession.
His teachings begin to spread throughout the Order. For the first time in generations, Jedi begin to question whether absolute detachment is truly the only path to light. Meanwhile, Anakin Dark has vanished completely from Republic space. Intelligence reports place him in the Outer Rim, in Sith space, even in the unknown regions. But wherever he goes, he leaves a trail of whispers. Stories of a powerful warrior who can defeat entire armies single-handedly, who speaks of bringing true order to the chaos of the galaxy. Chancellor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, finds himself in an impossible position. His carefully laid plans centered around corrupting Anakin Skywalker, but now there are two of them. One is incorruptible, radiating light so pure it's almost painful for a Sith to be near. The other is already lost to darkness, but shows no interest in serving any master. When Anakin Dark finally appears in Palpatine's office, it's not as a potential apprentice seeking guidance. He strides in with the confidence of an equal, his yellow eyes gleaming with dangerous intelligence.
Chancellor,
He says with a mocking bow.
or should I say, Darth Sidious.
Palpatine's carefully maintained facade doesn't slip, but his hand moves closer to his hidden lightsaber.
I'm afraid I don't know what you mean, my boy.
Drop the act.
Anakin Dark says coldly.
I have all of Anakin's memories. I know about your influence, your subtle manipulations. I know what you are.
And what am I?
A means to an end.
Anakin Dark begins pacing around the Chancellor's desk, like a predator circling prey.
You have resources, connections, an army. I have power beyond your comprehension. We can help each other.
Help each other do what?
Anakin Dark's smile is sharp as a blade.
Remake the galaxy. You want to rule it? I want to perfect it. The Republic is weak, divided, corrupt. The Jedi are blind, dogmatic fools. The Sith, well, the Sith at least understand power, even if they're too caught up in their ancient grudges to use it properly.
Palpatine studies this unexpected development. This isn't the broken, desperate Anakin he had planned to corrupt. This is something far more dangerous. A being of pure ambition and unlimited power who sees through all deceptions.
What exactly are you proposing?
He asks carefully.
A partnership.
Anakin Dark replies.
You provide the political framework, the armies, the infrastructure. I provide the strength to sweep aside all opposition. Together, we create something new. Not a republic, not an empire, but something worthy of beings like us.
And the Jedi?
Leave my light half to me. The rest...
Anakin Dark's hand rests on his lightsaber hilt.
The rest will kneel or burn.
As the Clone Wars rage on, both Anakins find themselves taking increasingly prominent roles, but on opposite sides of the conflict. Anakin Light leads Republic forces with unprecedented success, not through aggression, but through strategy, inspiration, and an almost supernatural ability to minimize casualties on both sides. His clone troopers worship him. Where other Jedi see the clones as expendable resources, Anakin Light treats each one as an individual worth protecting. He knows their names, their histories, their hopes. In return, they would follow him into the heart of a star.
General, Captain Rex says, after a particularly difficult battle on Ryloth, the men have been talking. They've never served under a Jedi like you.
How so, Rex?
You fight like you're trying to save everyone, even the enemy. Most Jedi fight to win. You fight like every life matters.
Meanwhile, reports begin filtering in of a mysterious figure leading separatist forces with terrifying efficiency. This new commander doesn't just win battles. He annihilates opposition so completely, but entire systems surrender at the mere rumor of his approach. Count Dooku finds himself both fascinated and troubled by his new ally.
You fight with precision I have rarely seen,
he tells Anakin Dark after their joint victory over a Republic fleet.
But your methods, they're brutal even by Sith standards.
Brutality is a tool.
Anakin Dark replies, watching Republic escape pods fleeing their burning ships.
Mercy is weakness. The galaxy doesn't need leaders who hesitate. It needs rulers who act.
And what of the Sith? Do you plan to simply discard us once you have what you want?
Anakin Dark's yellow eyes fix on the Count.
The Sith have spent 1,000 years plotting revenge against the Jedi. I'll accomplish it in a decade. The question isn't whether I'll discard you, it's whether you're wise enough to be useful.
The first direct confrontation between the two Anakins comes during the Battle of Christophsis. Republic forces under Anakin Light's command are defending the planet when Separatist reinforcements arrive, led by his Dark counterpart. As their fleets clash in orbit, both commanders know this moment was inevitable. They've been moving toward each other like binary stars, drawn by gravity but destined to destroy everything around them when they finally collide. The barrel is unlike anything the Clone Wars has seen. Anakin Light uses the Force to coordinate his ships with perfect precision, minimizing losses while maximizing tactical advantage. Anakin Dark commands through fear and power, his very presence driving his forces to fight beyond their limits. When their flagship finally engage directly, both Anakins stride onto the main bridges, knowing this fight cannot be decided by fleets alone. They meet in the space between their ships, two figures in the void, protected only by the Force and their own power. Their lightsabers ignite simultaneously, both blue, both humming with the same familiar resonance.
You could join me?
Anakin Dark says as they circle each other in the zero gravity.
Together, we could end this war in days. We could rule the galaxy as it was meant to be ruled. The galaxy doesn't need rulers.
Anakin Light replies sadly.
It needs protectors. Protectors fail, rulers endure.
Their duel is poetry and motion, two perfect mirrors of each other's abilities. Every strike is countered, every force push matched by an equal resistance. They know each other too well, every strategy, every weakness, every secret technique. But as the battle progresses, their styles continue to diverge. Anakin Light fights with defensive mastery, seeking openings to disarm and disable. Anakin Dark grows more aggressive with each exchange, his attacks designed to maim and kill.
You're holding back.
Anakin Dark snarls as their blades lock.
You're afraid of what you might become if you truly let go. I know exactly what I'd become.
Anakin Light responds.
I'm looking at him.
The duel is interrupted by the arrival of more Republic forces. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka have come looking for their missing general. The sight of two Anakins locked in deadly combat stops them cold.
Master!
Ahsoka calls out.
Don't do this.
Which master are you talking to? Anakin Dark asks with cruel amusement. He uses the Force to hurl debris at the rescue ship, forcing Obi-Wan to focus on protecting it rather than joining the fight. In that moment of distraction, Anakin Dark strikes. His lightsaber slashes across Anakin Light's shoulder, drawing first blood. The Light Warrior staggers and his Dark counterpart presses the advantage.
You see?
Anakin Dark says as he rains down blows.
Compassion makes you weak. Love makes you vulnerable. Power is the only truth that matters.
But Anakin Light doesn't fight back with anger. Instead, he does something unexpected. He opens himself completely to the Force. Not seeking power, but seeking understanding. In that moment of perfect clarity, he sees something his dark half cannot.
You're not my opposite,
he says, softly, catching Anakin Dark's next strike and holding it firm.
You're my echo. You think power comes from taking, but true strength comes from giving.
With a gentle push of the Force, he sends Anakin Dark drifting backward.
I don't need to defeat you. I need to understand you. Understanding is weakness.
Anakin Dark snarls, but there's something desperate in his voice now.
Understanding is wisdom.
Anakin Light counters.
And wisdom is what the Chosen One was always meant to bring to the galaxy.
The split between the two Anakins creates an impossible situation for Padmé. She loves Anakin. But which one is the real Anakin? The gentle, wise Anakin Light embodies everything she fell in love with about him. But Anakin Dark, for all his frightening intensity, carries the passion and fire that first drew her to him. Her secret meetings with both become a source of constant tension. Anakin Light visits her openly, bringing flowers and poetry, speaking of their future with a serenity that should be comforting, but somehow feels hollow.
I want to marry you properly.
He tells her one evening as they walk through her apartment's garden.
No more secrets. No more hiding. The Jedi Code speaks of attachment as a path to darkness, but I've seen true darkness. This isn't it. This is love in its purest form.
And what about him?
Padmé asks.
What about your other half?
Anakin Light's expression grows sad.
He believes he loves you, too. But what he feels isn't love. It's possession. He would burn the galaxy to keep you safe. But in doing so, he'd destroy everything you care about.
Meanwhile, her secret meetings with Anakin Dark are charged with dangerous intensity. He doesn't bring flowers. He brings promises of power, of a galaxy reshaped to their will.
I will make you an empress,
he tells her, his yellow eyes burning with conviction.
Not through politics or birth, but through strength. Every world will know your name. Every enemy will fear your wrath.
I don't want to be an empress.
Padmé protests.
I want peace, justice, freedom for all beings.
Peace through strength. Justice through power. Freedom through victory.
He takes her hands in his, and she can feel the raw power flowing through him.
I've seen our future, Padmé. At every timeline, every possibility, there's only the twins you carry, and I can sense them already. Two lights in the Force. Perfect and pure, and they deserve better than this broken galaxy.
How do you know?
Whispered Padmé, her hand moving instinctively to her stomach.
Because I am the chosen one, and the Force shows me what I need to know to protect what matters most.
Said Anakin Dark with absolute certainty. The revelation that she's pregnant changes everything. Both Anakins learn of it within days, and their reactions couldn't be more different.
I can feel them. Two beautiful souls untouched by the darkness of this war, and will raise them in peace, teach them wisdom, show them a galaxy worth believing in.
Said Anakin Light as he dropped to his knees, weeping with joy, pressing his ear to her stomach. Anakin Dark's reaction is more complex. He stands perfectly still for a long moment, his eyes closed, feeling the tiny presences through the Force.
Now I know why the Force split me. These children are the future. Not just our future, but the galaxy's future. And I will remake every star in the sky before I let anything threaten them.
Said Anakin Dark quietly when he opens his eyes. Something new burning there. Not just love or possessiveness, but absolute unwavering determination. As Anakin Dark's power grows, he inevitably comes to the attention of the ancient Sith. But when Darth Sidious finally reveals himself, expecting to find a new apprentice, he instead faces something unprecedented. A being who embodies the dark side, but refuses to serve it.
You have great power,
Sidious says during their first formal meeting in his hidden Sith shrine beneath Coruscant.
But power without guidance is merely destruction.
And guidance without strength is merely words.
Anakin Dark replies, examining ancient Sith artifacts with casual interest.
I've read the Sith Code, Sidious. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. But you've forgotten the deeper truth. Passion without purpose is worthless.
Then what is your purpose?
Anakin Dark turns, his yellow eyes reflecting the shrine's crimson lighting.
Evolution. The Sith and Jedi have spent millennia locked in the same pointless cycle. Light versus dark, order versus chaos, neither side willing to acknowledge what they could accomplish together.
Together?
Sidious can't hide his surprise.
The Sith and Jedi are eternal enemies.
No.
Anakin Dark says with certainty.
Light and dark are eternal partners. They define each other, strengthen each other, balance each other. The Jedi fear the dark and grow weak. The Sith embrace it and grow mad. That I am something new.
He gestures toward the shrine's ancient holocrons.
These Sith lords all made the same mistake. They sought to destroy the light entirely. Without light, darkness has no meaning. About the Jedi to define themselves against, to the Sith become nothing more than angry children breaking their toys.
And what would you do differently? I would forge a new order.
Not Sith, not Jedi, but something that acknowledges both sides of the Force. Imagine lightsabers that channel both light and dark energy. Imagine warriors trained in every aspect of the Force, not just half of it. Imagine a galaxy ruled not by blind dogma, but by beings who understand true balance.
Sidious listens with growing alarm. This isn't corruption. This is something far more dangerous.
This is philosophy, backed by unlimited power and absolute conviction. And my role in this new order?
He asks carefully. Anakin Dark's smile is sharp.
You can serve, or you can be replaced. The choice is yours.
For the first time in decades, Darth Sidious feels fear.
The inevitable confrontation comes when Anakin Light discovers Anakin Dark's alliance with Palpatine. He arrives at the Chancellor's office to find his dark counterpart sitting casually in the Chancellor's chair while Palpatine stands to his side like a servant.
So,
Anakin Light says sadly,
you've finally chosen your path. I chose my path the moment the Force split us.
Anakin Dark replies,
The only question was whether you'd be wise enough to choose the right side.
The right side? You're working with a Sith Lord!
I'm working with a tool.
Anakin Dark corrects.
Sidious has resources I need. When those resources are no longer useful, he shrugs eloquently.
Palpatine's face remains carefully neutral, but his eyes dart between the two identical figures.
This conversation could determine the fate of his millennia-old plans, Anakin.
He says carefully, addressing the light version.
Perhaps you should listen to what he's proposing.
The galaxy is in chaos.
The Republic is failing. Perhaps a new approach is needed.
Anakin Light's hand moves to his lightsaber hilt.
The only approach needed is justice. True justice. Not the corrupt order you're trying to build.
Justice?
Anakin Dark laughs.
You mean the justice that lets slavery continue on 1,000 worlds while the Senate debates? The justice that trains children to suppress their emotions until they become hollow shells? The justice that would rather see the galaxy burn than adapt? The justice that protects the innocent and serves the greater good? Whose definition of good?
Anakin Dark stands, his presence filling the room like a gathering storm.
Yours? The Council's? The corrupt politicians who've never seen a real battle.
Their philosophical disagreement begins to heat up, force energy crackling between them. Palpatine takes several steps back, sensing the power building in both figures.
And what would you do differently?
I would forge a new order. Not Sith, not Jedi, but something that acknowledges both sides of the Force. Imagine lightsabers that channel both light and dark energy. Imagine warriors trained in every aspect of the Force, not just half of it. Imagine a galaxy ruled not by blind dogma, but by beings who understand true balance.
Sidious listens with growing alarm. This isn't corruption. This is something far more dangerous. This is philosophy, backed by unlimited power and absolute conviction.
And my role in this new order?
He asks carefully. Anakin Dark's smile is sharp.
You can serve, or you can be replaced. The choice is yours.
For the first time in decades, Darth Sidious feels fear. The inevitable confrontation comes when Anakin Light discovers Anakin Dark's alliance with Palpatine. He arrives at the Chancellor's office to find his dark counterpart sitting casually in the Chancellor's chair while Palpatine stands to the side like a servant.
So,
Anakin Light says sadly,
you've finally chosen your path. I chose my path the moment the Force split us.
Anakin Dark replies,
The only question was whether you'd be wise enough to choose the right side. The right side? You're working with a Sith Lord! I'm working with a tool.
Anakin Dark corrects.
Sidious has resources I need. When those resources are no longer useful...
He shrugs eloquently. Palpatine's face remains carefully neutral, but his eyes dart between the two identical figures. This conversation could determine the fate of his millennia-old plans.
Anakin,
he says carefully, addressing the light version.
Perhaps you should listen to what he's proposing. The galaxy is in chaos. The Republic is failing. Perhaps a new approach is needed.
Anakin Light's hand moves to his lightsaber hilt.
The only approach needed is justice. True justice, not the corrupt order you're trying to build.
Justice.
Anakin Dark laughs.
You mean the justice that lets slavery continue on 1,000 worlds while the Senate debates? The justice that trains children to suppress their emotions until they become hollow shells? The justice that would rather see the galaxy burn than adapt? The justice that protects the innocent and serves the greater good? Whose definition of good?
Anakin Dark stands, his presence filling the room like a gathering storm.
Yours? The councils? The corrupt politicians who've never seen a real battle?
Their philosophical disagreement begins to heat up, force energy crackling between them. Palpatine takes several steps back, sensing the power building in both figures.
I offer strength.
Anakin Dark continues.
I offer an end to war, to suffering, to the endless cycle of conflict that has plagued this galaxy for millennia. All it requires is the wisdom to accept that some decisions are too important to be left to the weak. And who decides who's weak?
Anakin Light demands.
You? Based on what authority?
Based on this. Anakin Dark extends his hand, and the Force flows through him like a river of liquid starfire. Every object in the room rises into the air, held perfectly stable despite the enormous energies at play.
Power is the only authority that matters. Everything else is just pretty words. Power without restraint is tyranny. Restraint without power is failure.
Their lightsabers ignite simultaneously, the familiar blue blades casting dancing shadows on the office walls. But this time, something is different. As their conflict intensifies, their lightsaber crystals begin to resonate with their emotional states. Anakin Light's blade grows brighter, purer, almost white in its intensity. The crystal has absorbed his complete connection to the light side, his absolute commitment to protection and peace. Anakin Dark's blade darkens, the blue shifting toward purple, then red, as his crystal bleeds under the influence of his passion and conviction. But it's not the chaotic red of hatred. It's the controlled crimson of absolute purpose.
Look at us.
Anakin Dark says as they circle each other.
Look what we've become. You, so pure you're practically translucent. Me, so focused I'm beyond all doubt. Don't you see? This is what the Chosen One was always meant to be. Not one confused being trying to balance opposing forces, but two perfect expressions of absolute clarity. Clarity?
Anakin Light parries a strike that would have taken his head off.
You call this clarity? You're consumed by the very darkness the prophecy said the Chosen One would destroy. The prophecy said the Chosen One would bring balance to the Force.
Anakin Dark counters, his red blade screaming through the air.
How do you balance two opposing forces? By choosing one side, or by embodying both?
Their duel crashes through the Chancellor's office and out onto the landing platform beyond. The sight of two identical figures, one radiating pure light, the other controlled darkness, draws crowds of onlookers from across the Senate district.
Since now, I won't let you become the very evil the Force created us to stop, no matter what it costs me personally,
said Anakin Light as he raised his white blade with grim determination.
The Force didn't create us to stop evil. He appeared to transcend the primitive concepts of good and evil entirely, to become something greater than the galaxy has ever seen before,
replied Anakin Dark, as his red blade hummed with dark energy. Their final clash sends shockwaves through the Force itself, ripples that every sensitive being in the galaxy can feel pulsing through their very souls. In that moment of perfect tension, with their lightsabers locked, with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance, both Anakins suddenly understand what the Force had been trying to tell them all along.
We're both wrong in our absolute positions, aren't we? But you can see it now, through the Force itself showing us the truth,
whispered Anakin Light, as his eyes widened with sudden realization.
And we're both right in our core beliefs, because the Force needs both aspects to achieve true balance in the galaxy.
Agreed Anakin Dark, as his own expression shifted from fury to deep comprehension. They stepped back from each other, lowering their weapons as understanding flooded through their shared connection to the Force.
The Force didn't split us to create enemies who would destroy each other. It split us to create understanding between the light and dark aspects of existence itself.
Continued Anakin Light, as the truth became crystal clear.
Light cannot exist without darkness to define it and give it meaning. Just as darkness without light becomes meaningless, destruction it serves no greater purpose.
Added Anakin Dark, as they truly looked at each other for the first time since Mortis.
The galaxy doesn't need just peace and serenity. It needs the strength and determination to maintain that peace against those who would destroy it.
Realized Anakin Light, as the pieces fell into place.
It doesn't need just power and control. It needs the wisdom and compassion to use that power correctly for the benefit of all beings.
Added Anakin Dark, as they began working in perfect harmony. They turned together to face Palpatine, who had been watching this exchange with growing alarm and the dawning realization that his worst nightmare was coming true.
Chancellor, your manipulation and corruption of the galaxy ends here and now. No more puppet strings, no more hidden agendas,
said Anakin Light with calm finality.
The Sith have had their time to rule through fear and hatred, and so have the blind Jedi who ignore half of the Force's power.
Added Anakin Dark, as his red lightsaber continued humming with contained energy.
What exactly are you suggesting, young Skywalkers? Because surely you don't think you can simply reshape the entire galactic government overnight?
Asked Palpatine, as his hand moved toward his hidden lightsaber.
A new order that combines the best aspects of both light and dark, strength tempered by wisdom, power guided by compassion,
said both Anakins in unison, their voices harmonizing in a way that sent chills down Palpatine's spine.
The Republic has failed because democracy without strength becomes chaos and endless debate while people suffer,
stated Anakin Dark with cold precision.
The empire you envision will fail too because strength without compassion becomes tyranny and oppression of the innocent,
added Anakin Light with gentle but firm conviction. Palpatine's carefully maintained facade finally cracked completely as he realized his millennia-old plans were crumbling before his eyes. With a snarl of pure rage, he threw back his robes and revealed his true Sith nature, Sith lightning crackling from his fingertips, as he launched himself at both Anakins with desperate fury.
You fools think you can defy the natural order, but the dark side will consume everything you think you can protect,
screamed Palpatine as he attacked with everything he had. But he was no longer facing a conflicted young man torn between light and dark. He was facing the Chosen One, whole and complete, and absolutely confident in his unified purpose.
Your lightning means nothing against true balance, old man, because we understand both sides of the Force completely now,
said Anakin Light, as his white blade deflected the Sith lightning with ease.
And your hatred is powerless against our unified strength and shared purpose,
said Anakin Dark, as he moved with impossible speed, his red saber seeking Palpatine's throat with lethal precision. The duel was brief and decisive, as the Sith Lord found himself completely outmatched by two perfect warriors who shared every thought, every instinct, every breath in perfect harmony. Palpatine fell, his dreams of galactic domination dying with him as his body crumpled to the platform floor.
In the aftermath of Palpatine's defeat, the galaxy faces an uncertain future, but for the first time in millennia, there's real hope for lasting peace,
said Anakin Light as he addressed the gathered Senate from the Chancellor's podium.
The Clone Wars end not with victory for either side, but with something unprecedented. Unity of purpose between former enemies who now understand their shared destiny,
added Anakin Dark, as he stood beside his light counterpart.
I will take my place on the Jedi Council, but as a reformer, it teaches a new understanding of the Force, one that acknowledges emotion and attachment as potential sources of strength, rather than inevitable paths to darkness,
explained Anakin Light to the assembled Jedi Masters.
The Code teaches us that passion leads to suffering, but I've learned that passion itself isn't the enemy.
It's uncontrolled passion that destroys us. And love can make us stronger if we love wisely, while fear can protect us if we face it honestly.
Continued Anakin Light, as he spoke to a new generation of Jedi.
I will establish something the galaxy has never seen. An order of Force users trained in both light and dark techniques, dedicated not to conquest but to maintaining the balance between order and freedom.
Announced Anakin Dark to his first students, former separatists and Republic loyalists standing side by side.
We are not Jedi bound by ancient restrictions. We are not Sith consumed by hatred and revenge. We are something new. Guardians of balance, wielders of the complete Force in service to all life.
Said Anakin Dark, as he trained warriors who would protect the new order.
Together, the two Anakins forged a new government. Not a republic ruled by endless debate, nor an empire ruled by fear, but a confederation of worlds, guided by wisdom and protected by strength.
Our children will grow up in a galaxy where they can be whole beings. They won't have to choose between their emotions and their principles, between strength and compassion.
Said Padmé, as she spoke to both Anakins, now visibly pregnant with twins, feeling them moving in her womb.
Luke and Leia Skywalker will be born into a galaxy at peace, with their father's internal war finally resolved, and their future bright with unlimited possibility.
Said Anakin Light, as he gently placed his hand on Padmé's growing belly.
One father embodies perfect light, the other controlled darkness, and together we represent the balance the Force had always intended for the Chosen One to bring.
Added Anakin Dark, as he felt his children's Force signatures growing stronger each day.
Days later, as Luke and Leia grow into their own power, they represent something unprecedented in galactic history. Force users trained from birth in both aspects of their abilities, able to call upon righteous fury when justice demands it, and perfect serenity when peace is needed.
Explained Anakin Light, as he watched his children training in the rebuilt Jedi Temple.
The galaxy prospers under this new paradigm where former Jedi and Sith work side by side, their ancient enmity replaced by mutual understanding of the Force's true nature.
Said Anakin Dark, as he governed from a new capital built on willing cooperation rather than conquest.
The dark side is no longer feared as corrupting because it's balanced by equal mastery of the light, while the light side is no longer weakened by emotional suppression because it's strengthened by honest passion channeled properly.
Observed Anakin Light as he taught new students forms that blended defensive mastery with controlled aggression.
My empire is one of protection rather than oppression, built not on the bones of conquered enemies but on the willing cooperation of grateful worlds who have seen what true balance can accomplish.
Said Anakin Dark as he ruled with strength tempered by wisdom.
Sometimes, in moments of perfect harmony, we stand together and remember what we once were. A single conflicted soul torn between impossible choices, and the Force's solution was elegant in its simplicity. Don't make the choice. Make both choices and find the balance between them.
Said both Anakins as they reflected on their journey.
The prophecy spoke of bringing balance to the Force, but it never said that balance had to exist within a single being. Perhaps it was always meant to be expressed through perfect unity between opposing aspects.
Concluded Anakin Light as he understood their true destiny.
As our story ends, we see the galaxy as it was always meant to be, not dominated by light or consumed by darkness, but existing in perfect balance between the two. And the Chosen One fulfilled his destiny not by choosing a side, but by embodying all sides of the Force itself.
Said Anakin Dark as peace settled over the galaxy.
The Force, for the first time in millennia, was truly in balance. And in that balance, the galaxy finally found the peace it had been seeking for so long.
Said both Anakins together as their voices harmonized one final time. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. What if the greatest conflict in galactic history could have been resolved not through victory, but through understanding? What if the Chosen One's destiny was not to destroy one side of the Force, but to perfect both? If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. May the Force be with you. All of it.